Hello, this is May with Elemental Magic, and today I've got a sweet one for you. And let's just get my head out of the way. Okay, so today I have for you a Mono Black Zombies deck, which is actually surprisingly decent. I'm not gonna. It's pretty budget right now, but I wouldn't call it a budget deck by any means. I don't think it's really fits. I think it's a lot of cards in this are probably going to go up in price, and we're going to see maybe this deck could become part of the metagame. Anything's possible now that Saheeli's been finally banned, or the Felidar Guardian's been finally banned. So let's just talk off firstly about what the deck is trying to do, and I'll go through the individual card choices. The deck is a swarm strategy, sort of like an elf ball thing, but in this case we've got a zombie ball. We've got Lord and Anthem effects, and super efficient removal, which is one of the biggest strengths of the deck, which we'll get into shortly. Basically, we're making a lot of token zombies, and we have a lot of zombie synergies, which grow the horde, and we're swinging in for large chunks of damage, basically trying to go around our opponent, go around things like Gear Hulks, Bristling Hydras, Gideons, things like that. The deck is a little bit soft to a sweeper effect. There's nothing that new about a tribal strategy deck, to be honest, such as the case with decks like Elves, things like that in the past, Merfolk, etc. They all sort of rely on synergy on the board state to get going. A lot of these cards are from Innistrad as well, and there's a few new ones from Armand-Ket that have really kind of pushed the deck forward. The thing I like most about this deck is it utilizes a lot of new cards from the three last sets. A lot of cards that maybe weren't so good before and now found potentially a home. So Crypt Breaker, we've seen this in the red-black zombie decks before. This guy is just a great value engine. It's a one-card engine. You can get rid of excess lands, turn them into zombies, excess removal against control, turn them into zombies, into threats. He allows you to draw cards, grind out opponents. All around, just a really great utility card for only 1 mana. In this deck, he doesn't really stay a 1/1 either. Unlike the other red-black zombies deck, he grows quick. We've got the new Dread Wanderer from Armand-Ket. So this is a 2/1 for 1. So we have a good above the curve stats. And when it enters the battlefield tapped. So it's not really a defensive card. And you can pay 3 to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. And it's only at sorcery speed, so it's not like Scrap Heap Scrounger. And only if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, so you need to be kind of starting to gas out. We're playing him mostly because he's another 1-drop, giving us a total of 8 1-drops in the threat department. And this thing again is going to grow big with our strategy. We got Fatal Push in the 1-drop removal slot. I don't need to talk about how good that card is. Metallic Mimic is the first of our 2 lords. This card is already seen proven success in human strategies, and now we're just applying the same strategies to a different tribe, to the zombies. Relentless Dead. This is a card that people were pretty hyped for. Essentially, it's a menace 2/2 for 2. That's already pretty good. A 2/2 that a early creature that doesn't get blocked very easily. But whenever it dies, I can pay 1 mana, and if I do, I return it to my hand. So basically, it bounces to my hand for 1 mana every time it dies. When it dies, I may pay X. So if I have excess mana, excess of this 1, I can return another target zombie creature with converted mana cost X from the graveyard to the battlefield. So in this situation, the only card in this deck that I can't return is Metallic Mimic, because in the graveyard it'll just count as an artifact creature shapeshifter. But I can return Other Relentless Deads, Crypt Breakers, Dread Wanderers, Lord of the Accursed, Digraph Colossus. So another great card for grinding out the deck. And I think one of the things that really makes this deck interesting as we get into it is just how much card advantage it can grind, even though it's essentially an aggressive deck. Another brand spanking new card and our second Lord of the deck is Lord of the Accursed. This is a thing that like immediately jumped out, I think, at most people from Armaket, that hey, maybe zombies is going to be a thing. I mean, we have a lot of zombies from previous sets, and now here we get a zombie lord for only 3 mana, which is already good. 2/3 for 3. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. That's already pretty playable in this strategy. But the kicker is for only 2 mana, you can tap him, and all zombies gain menace until the end of turn. That's going to be used as a finisher a lot of the time. Your opponents will get one turn to answer this until you get to untap, make everything menace, and crunching with a huge zombie horde. Digraph Colossus. This is one that was seeing early play in the zombie decks in a Strad block, but it got Eldritch Moon Shadows over in a Strad block, but it kind of fell out of favour and it didn't really see a lot of competitive success. When it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter of each zombie card in your graveyard. So if your earlier zombies here have been fighting and dying, not including Mimic, he's going to come in a lot bigger than what he is. And whenever you cast a zombie spell, create a tapped 2/2 zombie creature token. So that's just, again, another form of card advantage, another form of grindy advantage that this body gives us. Now we're going to move on to some of the removal. So there's 2 copies of Grasp for Darkness. That's just good because Glorybringer is in the set, and it's quite popular. Also, Grasp for Darkness actually allows you to make blocks against gods and not lose your creature for swings back. But speaking of killing gods, let's talk about Dark Salvation. This card, I have come across a few players trying it out. It used to just be like a 1 or a 2 of in these zombie decks. I'm playing a full 4. And the full 4 is here because this is a 1 mana remove a creature most of the time. This is like Fatal Push number, a sorcery speed Fatal Push. You're going to pay, most of the time you're going to pay 1 mana and give a target creature -1/-1 till the end of turn. Now, it also creates more zombies, which is all great, but if you've already swarmed the board with the lower end of your curve, and then you play this card, even just for 1, you may, or even just for 3, like X = 1, so you're paying 3 mana, you could have enough zombies to maybe get something -5/-5, and that's going to kill a Aronis. Like, that's going to kill this green god here. So that's not small game. That's big game to be able to answer God's main board like that. Tippy top of the curve. We curve out at 5, and we're playing 4 copies of Liliana's Mastery. I thought this card might have been a bit of a trap when I was first looking into this deck. I thought it might have just been a bit too cute, but the +1/+1 is definitely worth it. You're paying 5 mana. You're getting 6. You're getting 2 zombie tokens, which are automatically getting the +1/+1s. So this is not like an always watching that's only good if you have threats. This brings threats with it. It brings 6 power to the board for 5 mana, not including any other Anthem effects you might already have. So she does really, really well. The enchantment does really, really well. Mana base is nice and simple. Obviously we're playing a lot of swamps, but we've got 2 copies of Westvale Abbey as well. There's a lot of decks in Standard right now that aren't going to deal with a flipped Westvale Abbey. One deck that comes to mind immediately is red-green monsters. They have limited answers to it. And if they board in things like Clip Wings, then that's going to make their deck intrinsically a little bit weaker to the Zombie Horde game plan. So this is sort of our backup plan. It's our plan B. I wouldn't call this a Westvale Abbey deck. It's just a deck that has such good mana that it's able to play a couple of Westvale Abbeys. On to the sideboard. So, Against Mardu, we don't have a whole lot against Mardu, to be honest. We want the Ruinous Pass for Mardu just to beat their Planeswalkers. But all in all, there's not much I want to change. I want to stay the aggressor. My creatures get bigger than theirs, and it's kind of on Mardu to be able to probably play the control game against us. Against control, we want to bring in Hearts of Kiran, Transgress the Mind, 2 copies of Liliana Last Hope. Decks that are going to play mainboard sweepers are going to be the biggest pain for us. So or mainboard wraths specifically. We can grow our zombie horde out of range of Sweltering Suns, but getting it out of range, or we have no mainboard really response to someone simply fumigating our board. Heart of Kiran gives us a way to immediately get back on the beatdown train after a wrath. Transgress the Mind obviously lets us be more proactive and take the wraths. And Liliana the Last Hope is an early Planeswalker that will come down and interact with Heart of Kiran nicely, while also be able to threaten ultimates and recur threats for us. Kalitas, Trader of Get, is for any sort of mirrors, any prized amalgam shenanigans, anything like that. He generally, against the smaller aggro decks, maybe like red-white humans, you want to bring in your Kalitas, bring in your Fatal Push and your 2 extra grasps, play it full and go more of a control game against them. Other than that, that's pretty much the sideboard in total. One thing of note in Mono Black, a shortcoming, is there's no hard artifact removal. So we are relying on Fatal Push to take care of Heart of Kirans, but if a deck that I might be scared to come up against would say be Aetherworks Marvel. They get the Marvel down, and there's not a way for us to beat it. We kind of need to proactively get it with Transgress. Alternatively, if the Marvel matchup is just so untenable and really difficult to play, we may exchange a Transgress the Mind for 1 copy of Lost Legacy, take out the Ulamog. I don't think there's much else in their deck that we lose to other than Ulamog. It seems pretty hard to assemble 10 zombies and a Dark Salvation it. I think you're winning the game already if you have that many zombies. But yeah, so that's the deck. This is the deck I'm going to play for week 2 of Standard. And I'm going to run this through a competitive league for you guys now. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I don't misplay.